Hey gang, David Henry from Inspired Tennis. Hope you're doing well. Hey listen, got a string review for you tonight. Normally with these string reviews, as you know, I like to introduce you to new strings that are in the market, okay? Not the case tonight. This string has been around for a little while. Definitely over a year, maybe closer to the 2-year mark. But even though it's not new, it's a really cool string, really unique string that I want to talk about, okay? It is Luxilon M2 Pro. And it's interesting because this string is based on what Luxilon calls multi-mono technology, okay? So it's kind of a mix between a multi-filament string with a lot of different filaments and not a solid core, and a monofilament string, which is just one solid core, which are what most copolyester strings are. And that's still what I would classify this string. It's still definitely a copolyester string, but it does have some multi-filaments in it, okay? And as Luxilon says, looking at my notes here, it is what they call a co-extrusion string, okay? Meaning that inside the monofilament, there are islands of material or multiple filaments, okay, that soften the string and give it its unique features, okay? To my knowledge, Luxilon was the first company to develop this kind of multi-mono technology with copolyester strings. Now I think there's a couple other companies that have since followed suit and come out with similar types of string, but don't quote me on it, but I believe Luxilon gets the credit for being the first with that string, okay? This string, it's interesting because probably the most popular type of hybrid out there, most common hybrid, is copolyester mains and then a multi-filament or natural gut crosses, okay? And basically what people are trying to do is trying to soften up the overall string bed. So they like the way copoly plays and has those in the mains, but don't want to play with a full bed of copoly because maybe they want the bed to be a little bit softer, or maybe they want a little bit more touch and feel on their shots. So basically the copoly mains and the softer crosses. Well, that's kind of what this string is doing, except you don't have to do a hybrid, okay? You can do it in one string. So it's kind of like a monofilament copolyester, kind of like a little bit softer multi-filament. I would say it definitely leans more towards the copolyester type of string as opposed to a multi-filament in the true sense of a multi-filament, but it is very unique, okay? And let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. You know, this is the type of string is what Luxilon says, okay, this is cool. Luxilon says that M2 Pro, based on this type of design, on this construction, it allows for more control on hard hits, okay? So very similar to a traditional copoly string. If you're taking those big cracks at the ball on your forehand, your backhand, on your ground strokes, taking those big cracks at the ball, this allows for more control on the hard hits. And then it allows for more comfort on the softer hits, okay? So it's kind of a balance. Really unique. Now, I have played with this. I played, as most of you know, my go-to string is Luxilon Alu Power Rough, okay? That suits my game perfectly. I love that string. And I did try M2 Pro, or maybe it was even in its first version. It might have just been M2 at the time. I don't quite remember. But I played with it once or twice, a couple years ago when it first came out. Didn't love it because it just doesn't suit my game. I like that full bed of a stiff copoly like Alu Power. But it was certainly a really interesting string, really unique feel, because like I said, it was kind of like that hybrid. You know, it wasn't as stiff as a Alu Power Rough, but it was you know, wasn't certainly a soft multi-filament or natural gut, so it was kind of a nice mix. So just didn't suit my game perfectly, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good string, because it is absolutely an outstanding string. Anything Luxilon makes, in my opinion, is an outstanding string. And give you some more information about it, it comes in 2 gauges, okay? So the 16 gauge, or 1.30 millimeters, that's called M2 Plus. And then this one here, the M2 Pro, is the 16L gauge, which is 1.25 millimeters. It comes in just white. You can't see it here probably on camera. Maybe against my shirt you can, but I've got some here. Comes in white color. It's available in both 40-foot sets and 660-foot reels. The availability anywhere. I mean, you're gonna find M2 Pro and M2 Plus, you're going to find them online at all the major tennis retailers. Chances are your local tennis specialty shop is going to have it. You can find it on eBay. You name it. Your tennis club and the pro shop may even carry it. So pretty easy to find, that's for sure. Best prices, it's an expensive string. Definitely on the higher end of co-polys. $17.95 per set is probably the best, most common price that you'll find out there. And then $224.95 for a 660-foot reel. From a stringing perspective, I strung this up last night, and really easy to string. Okay, coil memory was really no big deal. Very similar to most strings. You know, it was easier than, for example, like a Luxilon or Loop Power Rough, you know, because it wasn't as stiff. It's you know, again, like I said, it is not soft like a natural gut or your traditional multi-filament, but it is definitely softer, more flexible than your traditional co-poly string. Okay, and for that matter, it was pretty easy to string. You know, weaving the crosses was really easy because, you know, it was stiff enough to kind of drive through. I'm a pusher when I string my crosses, weave the crosses, and it was stiff enough to kind of push on through at a pretty good pace, but it was soft enough to give a little bit of flexibility. You know, it's got that good feel. You've heard me say probably on some other string reviews that I've done for some co-polys. Sometimes with co-polys you can just feel it. And once I take a string out of the package, I can tell just looking at it and feeling it. If it's a really high quality co-poly, because some of the lower quality, lower end ones, they tend to have what I've always classified as this technical word of cheap plasticky feel, and that is certainly not the case with M2 Pro. It's just kind of got that good look to it and real good solid feel. You know, you just know it when you take it out of the package and feel it for the first time that it's a high quality string. So stringing it was a breeze, no big deal at all there. And then the last thing that I'll say before I leave you in this video is Luxilon was very generous. Wilson and Luxilon, because Wilson is the U.S. distributor for Luxilon. Very generous in giving me 6 sets of M2 Pro. So the one set that I strung up, and then I have 5 sets here that, as usual, I will give away in a contest. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. What I think I'm going to do, because I've got a lot of strings kind of lined up to review and give away in the coming weeks. So what I think I'm going to do is probably later this week or this weekend, I am going to review Wilson NXT Control, okay? And I've got 6 sets of it, so I'm going to string one up, review it, give the review, and then watch on the heels of that review. I'm going to announce the contest, and I'm going to condense the contest. So it's going to be one contest where we'll have 10 lucky winners. 5 winners of Luxilon M2 Pro, and 5 winners of NXT Control. So be on the lookout for the NXT Control review, and then on the heels of that one, be on the lookout for the video that announces the contest to give away these 2 strings. So that is all I have for tonight, gang. Thanks for checking in.